Argument will be if she throws her support behind Bernie, then Bernie has a shot at getting the nomination because you amalgamate the two leftists and maybe they can win. But the argument for going with Biden is you get a cabinet position if he wins.
Treasury
Heaven
Secretary?
forbid that she's the Treasury Secretary. I mean, I'm just.
We're speculating. Or vice president.
That would seem, that would seem unlikely. Agree, heaven forbid, it would seem an unlikely post for her.
Let's bring in an authority on this. I hope he doesn't mind me calling him an authority on Senator Elizabeth Warren, but nonetheless, I'm going to make him one. Senator Mike Braun, Republican from Indiana. Okay, Senator, Warren is out. What's your speculation on who she supports?
Heard rumors of that yesterday and was discussing it with my chief of staff early today. I think she's in the first time in kind of a win-win position because obviously her campaign could not go on. If she throws in with Bernie, that makes her a good choice possibly as a VP candidate to shore up the left. If she casts Bernie aside and most of her philosophy, that might work with some of the establishment. So I think obviously her campaign was over. I didn't think this election could get more interesting, but it just gotten to a new level.
Let me just add one point here. I think Bernie is bust. I think socialism is bust in America. That's my position. I'm sure you agree. I know you agree with me.
Oh, I'm going to second the motion there. But what it's going to do, I think there's going to be some equilibrium going into their convention. And it's a lose-lose there because if Bernie gets jilted in any fashion, his supporters, I think, are going to stay home. And it's a tricky navigation for Democrats, and their platform stinks to boot. So I think Trump's benefiting every day from this.
But politics is such a lot of fun these days, isn't it? Okay. Okay. Senator, you're part of an effort to get the 2022 Winter Olympics out of China, where it's supposed to be. Why do you want them out?
I think that makes sense from every angle when you look at how they behave as in the world trade arena, the fact that it's run by the Politburo, you got all the human rights issues that constantly surface. Why should we be rewarding them with something of that high a profile? I immediately, when I saw that, I said, we're getting on it. So I'm supported 100%.
You'd turn this into a real new Cold War, wouldn't you? I mean, it's just like the way we objected to the Soviet Union. In fact, we did not appear in the 1980 Moscow Olympics because of the Cold War. You're going to make it not as bad, but somewhat similar.
I think, Stu, if it hadn't been for the fact that the Chinese have fully displayed the hand they're working with, and that is all the things impacting trade. We've talked about it many times, from the intellectual property theft, their huge production of gluts, subsidizing industries, manipulating currencies. That's why tariffs were brought in. I didn't like them, but it was a good tool, and it worked. When you've seen the recent coronavirus issue, it says that the Chinese government's got a lot to grapple with. But then you look at how they are constituted. They are state capitalists now. I think they know to really become part of the world community, you can't behave like they have, including maybe liberalizing their political system. So it could be a wake-up call for them as well.
Mr. Senator, as you know, Senator Schumer launched quite an attack on two Supreme Court justices yesterday. This morning, he's gone on the floor of the United States Senate to say he wouldn't perhaps use those words again. He tried to explain his statement, but he did not apologize. What's your take on this, sir?
So I think what he actually believes came out of his mouth. I contended with him for 6 months in 2018 when he ran a campaign of lies and distortions. I was one of the few that was going toe-to-toe with him during impeachment. They've got a weak case. They never rely on the merits of their case, and then they try to sensationalize things like he did out in front of the Supreme Court building yesterday. I had to walk right by it. I live near there. Sooner or later, you're going to be called out for that kind of behavior as well. I, in fact, was thinking about doing that same censure, and then found out Josh Hawley did it this morning. It was, I think, one of the first to join with him. So, you know, Chuck Schumer runs a vicious campaign platform. The substance of what they are trying to give us, more of this federal government that already doesn't work or pay for itself. So sooner or later, that's going to catch up with you.
Gotcha. Senator Braun, thanks as always for joining us. You're just having too much fun, and we'll see you again later. Thanks very much, Senator.
See ya.